Putting things in perspective. I don't know what time it is at the moment. I've been on call for over an hour and 20 minutes with a father. Suicidal. But when you have, whether it's a mum or a dad that are feeling the way that they're feeling due to a process that helps to destroy the relationship between parents and their children, it is harrowing. And any person that understands it knows that your normal everyday issues that you have in your life fall far short from what these parents are going through. And they are parents. They begin to feel that they're not even parents anymore. They're not the mum, they're not the dad, because they've been cut out so much. The difficulty that I have is I'm not convinced that the Pathfinder is a route that is there to make life easier on kids, cutting court cases in half, well, by a long chalk, to be honest. And I always think to myself, and I always look to, if the family courts struggle to fix something, if they can't deal with it in 2 years, 3 years, what makes them think that they can do it in a matter of 26 weeks, 6 months? The father I've spoken to is a Pathfinder fail, where he's ended up with an S9114. And this is one of the things that we were genuinely worried about, that the courts would swoop in, chuck these through the courts as quickly as possible, stick S9114s in place, barring orders, then for a year, maybe even 2 years, then that parent can't even reapply to court well without permission. And that is worrying when you think that CAVCAS are not doing the Section 7s, they're doing a child impact statement. So it's a lesser of a statement, a child impact statement, how this is affecting the child. In many cases, the effect of this having on a child is the other parent getting the children to regurgitate a lot of the things that they want, not what the parents seeking a relationship want, because they just want to have a relationship with their children. It's what that parent, the controlling parent, the one that has the ultimate control with the children, are forcing these children to, adhere to what their wants, their needs. They don't want them to have contact. It's very regular that you come across things like, yeah, you want to see your kid, you take me to court, see you in court, blah blah blah, and they're blasé about it. And I guess they have every reason to be blasé about it, because the courts relatively don't do anything for the non-resident parents who file into courts to seek the help from the courts in the first place. But not every, a lot of the court cases that are filed in by parents are countered by allegations of domestic abuse. So the worrying fact straight away is a parent files into family court because they've tried everything else and now battling allegations of domestic abuse, allegations of sexual abuse, allegations of coercive control, allegations of even child sexual abuse. These are the allegations that are coming up. Very often they are not founded. No further action. Doesn't mean that something didn't happen, but it does mean that there wasn't enough evidence to continue on with the case. But the prevalence is less in family courts. To deliver court case, to deliver the same allegations in family court, it falls upon a judge's decision whether or not to say, I think you did it. Because that's what it is, basically. It's not a case of when all the facts are put forward and the judge looks at the facts, it's still an I think you did it, or you may have did it, or you may not have done it. Because they're not proven to a criminal standard. And let's face the facts. Allegations of domestic abuse will always be used in family courts because there is zero accountability if they're proven to be not true. Zero. Absolutely zero accountability. Just like there is no law against them making allegations. So there's no law against them making allegations, and there's zero done when they've proven to be false. So, I understand how parents feel. I understand that going through a court case and getting shut out of that court case, not having your children at the end of it, paying for it, and don't get me wrong, parents certainly don't moan about paying to go to court. But when it turns on its axis, because you filed into family courts, so they will have tried with their ex to get contact. They'll have with the risk of, to the point of risk of having a non-molestation order or some stay away order put in place, because that's what they do. They may have tried with their parents, they may have tried with their own parents to see if they could help. They may have tried mediation, they may have tried a lot of things before they go to family court. Yet, it's people on the other side, like Women's Aid and Charlotte Proudman and people like that actually think in their little tiny minds that these parents want to go to court to continue to abuse their victims. No, they want to go to court because they want to have a relationship with their children. They certainly do not want to go to court to abuse their relation. They don't. I've come across many parents. I've helped many parents. My God, I have come across them in distraught states because they're desperate to have a relationship with their children. I don't think there's a father out there that struggling for the whole week, the whole month, the whole 3 months before a urine is urine, thinks, I can't wait to get into court. I can't wait. I'm going to give it to her. I'm going to give it to him. No. But you see, this is the Women's Aid, the Harms Panel, the likes of Charlotte Proudman. This is their way of diminishing and destroying the parental alienation. It's not parental alienation. It's a parent going in to continue to abuse the other parent. The poor victim is protecting the child. I've made this a video because I don't know if you get enough time, or I didn't want to get it to a point where if a signal just drops or whatever. So I wanted to make this video as clear as I possibly can. Because parents out there, if you are in family courts and you are the non-resident parents and you're filing into family courts, get help, get support. And I mean get help and support from possibly people that have been through it with a lot more common sense than lawyers, than a lot more help than Mackenzie friends. A lot of these people are only in it for money. That's their goal. Gone are the days when Mackenzie friends were there to help and support They are money orientated. They know that there's a gravy train there that they can jump on board and make money. That's the bottom line. Not all, but unfortunately, more and more are just in it for the money and letting parents down. The most important thing about this video is when you're going into family courts, the reason you should get help, get support, and make sure you have some basic knowledge. And what I mean by basic knowledge is when you go into court, your ex's lawyer is likely to throw things at you. They're likely to throw a lot of things at you, hoping something will stick, or hoping for you to react in a way that the judge will see and fortify their position. And when that happens in the beginning of a case, it can spell the end of the case. Because that judge sits higher, looks around, and that judge may think to themselves, oh no, this was a father that's can't contain himself. This is a father that's got emotional problems. They don't understand the frustration. They don't understand what you have gone through before family courts, trying to have a relationship with your children, because they don't give two fucks. They still get their money at the end of a paycheck every month. But let me slip something else in here as well, because I just read earlier on as well, when will the status quo end? Look, it's not rocket science. Very, very often, in fact probably majority of the time, the person that leaves the household, the family home, is the man. Because he is the man. I'm the man. This is what I should do. Make sure my child's still got a roof over their heads, etc., etc. What they don't expect is what comes after. I remember my ex watching Jeremy Kyle and saying, I'll never do that, I'll never do that. And then second breath then, when it goes tits up, does everything that she said she wouldn't do. And that's because they have that want, they have that urge to hang on to every little bit of control. And they know, due to the fact that the children are settled, that they're highly likely to get what they want. The system very rarely changes anything. It'd have to be a damn good reason before they would change residency. And there are a lot of boxes that need to be ticked before before even residency would be changed. A lot of parents turn around, I've come across them and say, well, I'm going for residency, I want the child, I want to get my child out of this, that, and the other. They're living at their mother's, they've got a one-bedroomed house, and it's like, well, okay, but where are you going to put the kid, There are a lot of factors, absolute mountain of them. I never went into court to take our child away from her mother. I went into court because our daughter wanted to have a relationship with her father. That's for another video, and I think I'm going to start doing some of these videos because I've worked with a lot of parents, and some of the parents that I've worked with have been into the family court system for years. I'm talking about the kids are now become teenagers from when they were on single-digit numbers, and now teenagers. And some of them have still not got contact because the system is tits up. I genuinely believe that all this hype with this Pathfinder is nothing more than the courts are inundated, Kafkas are inundated, and it's a way that they're just trying to cut the court cases down and cut Kafka's workload down. Let's face the facts. Pathfinder, they don't do a Section 7, they do a child impact statement. Section 7 would take 20 weeks to do, up to 20 weeks. A child impact statement, a lot less. Kafkas, for anybody watching this that's not from England and Wales, the England and Wales is family court advisors. So they're the ones that there's all seeing and all doing. They're supposed to be the ones that go out and do everything. They do a fantastic job, really, absolutely amazing, because they do a better job than what trained child psychologists can do. Because trained child psychologists have stated categorically that a child that has been indoctrinated, brainwashed, a child that has been even turned, caused a split or anything else, within 3 months of that child having that happen to him, it can take a trained expert 3 to 6 months before they can get that child to speak out about what they really feel and what they really want. But hey ho, here's a newsflash. Boom! Kafkas can do it in 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Hey, they could do it in 20 minutes during the COVID, during lockdown when they did their own WhatsApp meetings. They could do it in 20 minutes. It's an absolute farce and a joke. And don't forget, the undue influence. The undue influence is the unit, that parent, that has the control of them children. And you may put that child in, take that child out of the room, but that doesn't mean that that child is going to be any different. They are all pinpointed into the direction that that parent wants them to go and wants them to say. Never has there been a truer meme throughout social media, and I don't see it going around much now, but it has never been a truer meme where it shows the hand coming out of the, in the particular meme, it's the mother, out through the child's head, out the front to the child's tongue, because that's what they are doing. They are speaking for what that parent wants, not what the child wants. There are multiple examples of when contact finally gets in place as well, and how that is turned down and turned upside down. And they all know the tactics. You know, if you have a child that's supposed to be going to a contact centre on a Saturday, and the mother or father wake up and say, well, I'm going to go to contact with your mum or dad today, or do you fancy going to the zoo? What do you want to do? Do you want to go with your mum and dad, or do you want to go to the zoo? Want to go and have some fun? Probably the child most of the time picks the fun thing to do. Oh, you can see your dad next time, you can see your mum next time. Children don't realise that. When they get home, man, that puts them in a low ebb. I remember when I was in the contact centre, when it come around to Christmas birthdays, I'd have to make a list and give it to my daughter would have to make a list with her mother, and then give it to me what she wanted for Christmas and her birthday. So then I'd go out and get them. But I guarantee you, my ex had already got exactly the same things. Going to, like Plantasia. I have to tell her in advance, I'm going to take the little one to Plantasia next Saturday. Yeah, right, okay. She'll have gone the Saturday before. There are so many tactics that it's unbelievable. And for parents to watch out for all these tactics, it's never a truer saying as it's a minefield. It absolutely is, because one step in the wrong direction can knock your court case pear-shaped. You know, people turn around and watch people desperately. Oh, anyone know of a Mackenzie friend? I would not. I cannot recommend a Mackenzie friend. I cannot recommend a solicitor, because I don't think that there's any out there that I would even trust myself. And that's the difficulty when it comes to this. And you're laying not your trust. This isn't about your trust. This is about you laying your children's lives in their hands. The lawyers, for me, they tend to want you to do whatever the other side say, because you do what they say. Just do what they say, and it just becomes obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. But don't worry about it. The solicitor just gets paid and paid and paid and paid until you ain't got no money left. The solicitor still gets paid, but on another job, because they're long gone. There's only one person you can trust in the situation that you're in, is yourself. And that's why I opened Dad's up, because there was no talk of the kids. It was always the parents. I went to both parents, Martha and Cymru, in Clydach here in Swansea. And that's all I heard was, oh, my ex this, my ex that. And I thought, oh my God, where's the kids in this? And I went the second time because I thought, okay. So I went the second time. And it was the same. And I thought, fuck me. Where's the kids? Where is the kids in this? You're talking about what your ex is doing to you. What about the kids? And I opened up Dad's with Sophie. And the actual Dad's logo is hands held together. She'd done an amazing logo, and she put down exactly what it meant and what the colours meant as well, and it all symbolised kids, because they're the innocent ones in this. They are the innocent ones. They will always be the innocent ones, and they will always be the cannon fodder. They absolutely will be, because if anybody thinks that going through family courts that your children don't suffer, then they're fucking idiots, absolute idiots. Because yes, they do. And it can be long term as well. It can be a lifetime. And without any therapy, it can just continue into their life. They can end up with attachment disorders, abandonment issues, a multitude of everything that you don't want your child to have, like drugs, alcohol, God knows what. Everything. There's a list. I've done the list before. Failing academics, you name it. All the things you wouldn't want your child to fail in, or you wouldn't want your child to do. This is what potentially they're at risk of. But putting another stamp on this as well now. Family courts have a difficult job to do, and they have a far more difficult job to do when they see both parents battling it out. That's why I always say to parents, you have to keep it child focused. And I know everybody says this, keep it child focused, keep it child focused, keep it child focused. But what they don't turn around and say to them is, being child focused is not getting involved with anything with your ex. Stick them in a jar. No matter what their lawyer says, no matter what Kafkas may stand up and say or whatever else, stick your ex in a jar. Leave them there. You cannot deal with them. I've done this video about the exes in jars so many times before. It's unreal, and I'm saying it again. Stick them in a jar. There is no law against them making allegations. Leave them. There is no law against them poking buttons at you with their lawyer. There's pushing buttons. There's no... Leave them. Because you're all out there turn around and say that your ex is a narcissistic. Your ex is a narcissistic. Well, here's a newsflash for you. The only single solitary way that you will uncover a narcissist is ignore them and leave them do it themselves. Because it'll bite with them. It'll chew on them. And they will eventually... they will show their true colours. And let me tell you something else as well. If your exes are in family courts and they are building their whole case and stopping you from having contact on lies, they will have to continue to lie and lie and lie and lie. And each lie will be on top of another lie. And sooner or later, one lie, that's all it takes to fall down, and they all crumble, every one of them. I see people turn around and saying, taking the walls down. The family courts need an enema. They need an absolute enema. And then they need a fleet of JCBs to fly in there and clear out all the shit. Because that's what's happening with family courts. And the sooner family courts realise it, and realise that they are being used by a parent that is controlling children, then there is a chance that these children will have an opportunity to have both parents in their life. You know, I live in the UK, and statistically, in the UK, most people, when they split up, get on and co-parent. When it comes down to family courts, it baffles me, really baffles me, why the likes of courts and Kafkas push for co-parenting courses and apps. The parenting app. Let me tell you what it was, right? Going back years ago, I used to pass a book back and forth. So you'd keep updates on everything that you need to update with, and it was a book, a contact book. Now you got an app. They just become off slagging off things, and to a point where some of them don't even bother with them. They don't take the time to figure out what will work and what won't work. They just rather just like a bulldozer plow through and just screw up families. They don't care. It's not their family. It's not their kids. They don't know what your kid likes. They don't know what your kid's favourite colour is. They don't know what your kid's favourite food is. You know what your kids' dislikes are? They know nothing about your kids. Yet they have the biggest influence. They have the biggest influence on your children's whole life. And here's the kicker. In public law, in public courts, social services will remove children and keep children away from both parents if there is the risk of future emotional harm. Yet in private law, when two parents, and there's a parent seeking to try and get a kind of keep the relationship with their child, and everything that happens in between that, it's not only emotional harm that happens to these children, it's psychological. Because these children are used and they are abused, and that is psychological damage to these children. That's why we have, since 2019, talked about the non-accidental psychological injury in the child. It is deliberate. You have a parent that is set out to use that child for whatever reason to diminish the relationship between the other parent and that child. And that is psychological harm, psychological damage to a child. And if they've seen all that if social services seen all that in public law, them kids will be removed without a shadow of a doubt. But why is it in public law, in private law, why is it allowed to happen? That risk of, damn right, there's a risk of emotional harm. Because along with that emotional harm comes the psychological injury that happens to these children. I say injury because it stays there like a scar. It's an invisible scar, but it is there. And children go through it every fucking day. And family courts are complicit in it. Seeing parents going through family courts after years with no evidence of anything to do with domestic abuse, nothing, absolutely nothing, having contact and then having it stop because the other parent don't like the fact that they're having contact and make up excuses. After years of being in court and coming away with nothing, even when things are being identified like parental alienation in the court case, but still come away with nothing because they shrug their shoulder, judges, and say, well, what can we do? Or they don't even shrug their shoulders and then they'll still pass the blame on to that other parent because how dare you come into court wanting to see your children? You've been coming into this court wanting to see your children for the last God knows how many years. Take a child away from a fucking judge and then let's see if they'll just sit back and watch fucking TV on a fucking morning or whether they'll go through what every other parent out there goes through. You fight tooth and nail. You have to do. Because your children are far too young to do it. They're not allowed to do it. They don't even cross the threshold of family court doors. So they rely on their parents, the other parent. And do the children miss you? Do your children miss you? They cry their tears in silence. I'll put the post up with the YouTube message from our daughter at the age of 8 who found me on YouTube. And in that message it said, I cry each night, Dad. I watch your videos. I love and miss you. And don't worry, I'm a subscriber. They need you. They need you to be here. Don't even ever contemplate taking your life. You stay here. I know how hard it is. I've been there. I've seen the struggles. I see them every day with other parents. I'm involved with groups and pages with tens of thousands of people on. I see the harrowing stories all the time. I come across parents. I have parents who message me, begging me for help. And I can only do the best that I can to help them. You stay. Your kids need you. Our daughter got her dad. She wanted her dad, she got her dad. You stay. Stay. And if you need help and support, please, please message us. Dad's nap, just message. There's always someone on there.